their legal investigative work in order to give us this letter. I won't read the entire letter, but the second paragraph responds to this letter. In your letter that you refer to the issue of non-discrimination, especially the practice of shaving the hair of only Black African students as opposed to other students of other races who go to the same schools. This allegation, if proved, would tantamount to discrimination on the basis of one's race, contrary to Article 21 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995, the major articles of international and regional human rights instruments, majority of which have been ratified by Uganda. The Uganda Human Rights Commission, Masaka Region Office, is desirous to partner with your organization in your endeavors of promoting and protecting human rights. We were in Masaka at the time. We've since shifted to Entebbe. But I wanted to share this with the viewers and with you, Dr. June, because this is a serious problem. And it's been going on so long. And we've asked students, we go to schools, we visit, and the first thing that comes out of everybody's mouth is, oh, this is part of our culture.
It's part of the culture. Yeah.
But I beg to differ. I've talked to traditional healers, we've talked to the scientists, we've talked to Ministry of Health. It is not part of your culture. It is not. It's just a bad habit that needs to stop. In the name of Jesus.
And you think probably it's going on because of lack of this, the kind of information that you're sharing right now.
Exactly.
People do not know.
They just don't.
The effect and the reason why that hair was put in place in the first place.
They just don't know. God didn't make a mistake.
He didn't make a mistake.
And you hear all these, I hear ladies and young girls saying, oh, you don't understand. We've got poor quality. And I want to slap. I said, God could never give you poor quality.
You called it woody hair, but is this actually woody?
It's actually woody.
You call it kawiki.
Kawiki. That's a word I don't know. And they'll tell me, oh, it's too hard to manage. We're just going to shave that right out. But wait, there's something else that I need to share with you. I think one of the worst things that can happen, just before the major exams, the big exams.
Yes.
All of the African students, only the African students, are forced to go immediately and get one of these Charlene haircuts.
Yes.
Charlene, right down to nothing.
Yes.
Just before the exam. Hear this really good. The other students, we talked about the other races, they don't have to do that. Now, all students have a certain amount of adrenaline. Did I study well enough? Am I going to pass? I don't want to disappoint my teachers, my parents. This is natural anxiety. This is normal. This is perfectly normal. But the African student has 2 additional drugs in their bloodstream. If you draw their blood, their levels are extremely high. And that's endorphins and an extra amount of adrenaline. Why? Because they've been forced now to go and mutilate themselves before they can write the exam. And they walk into the classroom angry, confused, dismayed, segregated against, low esteem. They're fortunate to remember anything that they've studied because they've been subjected now to humiliation. It's a form of abuse. But my question is, why has it lasted so long? And with such vigor? I just am appalled.
Wow. This has been so interesting. We could go on and on and on and on and on. And I'm sure you have an opportunity to come back for us to go.
Praise God.
Because this is the first time I'm hearing what you're discussing personally. And I think that a lot of what is going on is because of ignorance. And so I'm very grateful that you found the time to come and share what you've shared with us. You've talked a lot, of course, about the harmful. It's really about overexposure. It's the overexposure that causes a problem.
Yes.
However, the ultraviolet, just for the benefit of the viewers, ultraviolet light or radiation rays do have beneficial effects as well.
Oh, yes.
Just highlight a few of those.
We're not able to live on the planet without the sunshine.
Exactly.
I was in Alaska. I did a contract there, and for 6 months,
Yes.
they call it the land of the midnight sun.
Yes.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, the sun is shining. Of course, I went in the summertime because I don't like dark. But 6 months out of the year, there's no sunshine. They've done studies. The rate of suicide is increased.
Yeah.
Yes, because as humans, we need sunlight. Plant life, we need sunlight in order for plants.
Photosynthesis.
Right.
Exactly. Yes.
So the sun has its benefits.
Exactly. Vitamin D formation.
However, for us in Uganda, we've never had a reported case of rickets. Rickets is a disease that comes from the lack of vitamin D. We've never had a case.
We have enough vitamin D.
We have plenty of sunshine. The sun shines here 365 days a year.
Exactly.
It's tropical. Reminds me of Jamaica.
Exactly.
It rains and the sun comes out.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody wants to be here for the weather.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everything grows here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a beautiful country. The only problem that I can see right now is overexposure to ultraviolet radiation. And if we protect our children, protect their brain. I see people spending expensive money on shoes, and their brain is overexposed, and no thought is given to that. And it's probably because we're not talking about it.
We don't know.
We're not talking about it.
Okay. So I'm so grateful that you found time to come. And I'm sure we're going to continue the discussion because it seems like it's a deep and passionate discussion on your part.
It is.
Viewers have been discussing a topic, climate change. Please send your questions and comments to us by SMS on 6044. Visit our Facebook page, The Doctor Is In, and please write your comments, questions, and suggestions there as well. We'll have to say bye for now and see you next time.
Like the magnetic field, there's another cosmic force that affects life on Earth in mysterious ways. It hides in broad daylight, but there's no hiding from it. Ignore it and you'll get burned, or worse. A cosmic phenomenon gives us that golden tan we crave and that seemingly healthy look. But that look only goes skin deep. A tan is the most common effect from a potentially deadly solar source, UV, or ultraviolet rays.
Ultraviolet is that part of the spectrum that we can't see with our eyes, but there's a fair amount of it out there, and the sun is putting it out all of the time. Now, just like there are colors in the visible spectrum, there are colors of ultraviolet, depending upon what the wavelength is, and we've divided them into 3 different bands: ultraviolet A, B, and C.
For example, ultraviolet C is blocked almost completely by the ozone layer. Ultraviolet B gets through a little bit more, and ultraviolet A gets through the most because it's the closest to being visible light.
UVA is considered the aging and skin cancer ray, and UVB is considered the burning ray. So the UVB rays cause sunburns, and the UVA rays cause the freckles and the sunspots.
This is a model of a cross-section of skin. When you're outside, the UVB light will go superficial into the skin and cause sunburn. So that will damage the cells that make up our skin, keratinocytes. When the cells are damaged, the body responds by activating the immune system, and that will increase the blood flow to the area of injury, and then it will activate the immune cells to produce small molecules that causes inflammation.
And that's just the beginning. Prolonged exposure to UVB rays from the sun can cause cataracts, and it can also be a factor in skin cancers, such as melanoma, a potentially fatal disease.
The people at most risk of developing skin cancers from sun exposure are the lightest skinned people, the people with the lightest eyes, the people who live in the sun, the people who never wear sunscreen. Those are the most at risk.
There is, however, a bright side to UVB exposure, and that's the production of vitamin D in the skin.
We can produce vitamin D with an innate molecule that's actually in the skin plus UV radiation, which converts this molecule into vitamin D, which we need for healthy bones, healthy calcium metabolism. However, we can also get that vitamin D from fortified foods and from supplements, so we don't absolutely have to get it from UV radiation.
While UVB interacts with the surface layer of skin, UVA penetrates deeper, adding a new wrinkle to sun exposure.
UVA exposure that goes deep into the lower layer of the skin will lead to photoaging and will break the collagen by increasing enzymes that break up the collagen and the elastic fibers that's in the dermis that gives us the youthful and tight and healthy skin.
Tanning booths try to recreate the sun's rays artificially. But exposure to man-made sun in a booth is worse than lying under the real thing, 93 million miles away.
The tanning booth industry will make you think that tanning booths are safer and the tan you get from laying in them is a safer, more gradual tan, but the opposite is true. In fact, tanning booths are even more harmful to the skin. The reason is because the bulbs are over 90% UVA rays, and those A rays are the aging and skin cancer rays, so people will develop skin cancers 20 and 30 years later. It's a known fact that going to the tanning salon increases your risk of skin cancer.
Many people also think that regular sunscreen will protect them from skin cancer and premature aging. Not true. Not even sunscreens with a high SPF number will prevent these harmful effects from the sun.
SPF is sun protection factor, and it measures how much time you can be out in the sun without getting burned. So SPF factor only measures the UVB protection, not UVA.
The most effective sunscreens provide protection against both UVB and UVA. But even with frequent reapplications, sunscreens are no guarantee against skin cancer, which may be increasing due to the depletion of the ozone layer.
What ozone does is it forms sort of a blanket over us that absorbs a lot of the incoming radiation. So what happens if you lose your ozone, you get more and more of this higher energy radiation, the UVB. And that's the stuff that's bad for causing damage to your skin.
It's interesting to note that 2 billion years ago, before the Earth had an oxygen-rich atmosphere, it had no ozone layer, and life did not exist on the surface of the Earth. It could only exist under the ocean layer.